Good morning, everyone. First of all, I'd like to express my warmest welcome for Professor Zhao, Anissa, Professor Guan, as well as all the dear students from Hong Kong. And it's very honored to be here to talk about something we have done in the past 3 years. So my title will be Creative Cities and Design Thinking. I will start from this map. It's the map of Asia. The purpose of showing this map is to draw your attention to 3 points. First, the spotlight is shifting from Europe in 19th century to the United States in the 20th century, now come to Asia. And secondly, as you can see, entering 21st century, we also enter into the era of the competition of cities. And the third point I'd like to draw your attention is that Taiwan, actually, geographically speaking, is located in the center of the East Asia. As you can see from the circles, Taiwan can reach to Hong Kong within 1.5 hours, and extend another 1.5 hours to Bangkok, and another 1.5 hours to Jakarta, and also to the far north to Hokkaido. And my speech consists of 4 parts. The first part, I will briefly cover the material you guys are familiar with, the so-called creative cities. And I will touch on briefly the theoretical background, also the conditions for creative cities. Certainly, when we talk about creative cities, we have to mention 2 names. One is Richard Florida. I think Richard Florida's 2 books has influenced greatly, particularly in Taiwan, the professionals and the scholars thinking. And he draws our attention to 3 T. And first of them is talent, in addition to technology and tolerance. So he distinguished the normal class and the creative class. The so-called creative class includes scientists, engineers, professors, poets, artists, architects, designers, directors, and so on and so forth. And also he created something as index to estimate creative cities. One of them is called CUDIS. It's emphasized the young generation's population between 22 and 29. And also he emphasized the importance of nightlife and the cultural facilities. And the second leaders on the thinking of creative city is Charles Laundrie. And he has published 2 important books. One is The Creative City, and the other, The Art of City Making. He reminds us to rethink the planning, development, and management of cities. He also advocates that a city needs to embed a culture of creativity in the way it operates and to infuse how all its organizations operate. In other words, we are changing from the master plan to enabling planning and to enhance so-called creative milieu. Down to the bottom, you will see the evolution of the city planning, city as an egg, as Professor Zhao also mentioned, the metaphor of egg. We are changing from boiled egg as ancient time and fried egg between the century of 17 to 19, and then we are becoming a scrambled egg. And the third one is very interestingly notable, whose name is Jane Jacobs. She published the book, The Death and Life of Great American Cities, in 1961, very long time ago. However, the first traditional Chinese translation appeared in the year 2005, and the simplified Chinese translation appeared in 2006. So recently, her ideals actually has influenced greatly on the urban regeneration, particularly in Taiwan, on many scholars and officials thought. First, she criticized most of the urban renewal did not respect the citizens' requirements or demands. And secondly, she supports all buildings occupied by bohemian, the so-called art and design workers, constitute the most important space for the generation of urban creativity. And third one is that she emphasized the new ideas, actually more often than not, were born in old buildings. And then the second thing I'd like to touch on is the conditions for creative cities. Actually, it's talent and living. The first is that human creativity is the root for economic growth, which is actually emphasized by Richard Floridan's books. And secondly, we need to gather talents together because nowadays city is not have not an economic growth because of the industry. Instead, we need to have the talents to trigger the innovation and the energy for economic growth. And also we need to create a better, comfort, interesting culture and artistic vitality to attract the talents to come to city. And also the city has to be more diversity, high-tech, coolness, cultural facility, and better climate. And finally, we think it's not the single matters, but the whole system. So for a creative city to be sustainable, actually we need to have a creative cycle. In other words, innovative thinking, organization culture, local identity, and creative milieu actually are the ingredients of the creative cities. And we need to create a creative cycle like enhancing idea generating, turning idea into practice, networking, circulating, platform for delivery, and then building markets and audiences, and go on and go on. With this background in mind, the second part of my speech will touch on two cities. One is the Taipei City, which is the World Design Capital 2016. And secondly, I will spend more time on Tainan City because you will stay here, and also I will share two projects with you, which ICID and NCTU has engaged with. As you can see, in the past, those cities being elected as the World Design Capital, including Turin in Italy, the year 2008, Seoul, South Korea, Helsinki, Capitan, and Taipei. One of the major reasons Taipei being selected is that the city understands to apply design thinking to face the significant problems of the city, and also try to propose respectable solutions to this. So every World Design Capital understands to employ the innovative method to pursue the future development of the city. So Taipei City actually provides a vision to construct the city with design, and also there's a statement that design should be the a basic quality of modern citizen. And also, if we can cultivate our citizen, everyone can solve their own problems, daily life problems, or big problems with others. And by doing so, Taipei can become a more adept city and always can apply design to keep the creative energy and vitality. In addition to that, actually in the past few years, Taipei has created two major cultural creative parks. One is Huashan 1914, which is a remodel project from the old brewery. However, people often criticize it consists a big number of restaurants. And Huashan, Songshan, the other one not too far away from Huashan, actually is also a local all-industry site, which is called Songshan Cultural and Creative Park. It's being criticized being a department store for cultural creative industry products. Charles Laundry came at the early last year, and he said Songshan factory is so beautiful. However, when we enter the park, we can hardly sense the creativity and the vitality of the young people. Okay, when the city tried to call itself a creative city, this is also another way. I think Anissa touched on this topic, branding, city branding. In Taiwan, actually, every city all have star architects from all the world to design some landmark buildings. In Taipei, this is very notable, important culture facility called Taipei Performing Arts Center. And it's designed by the renowned architect, Lampu House. And you can see it's located in Shi, okay, very interesting site. And when the first competition project being proposed, people think it's like a peanut loaf, okay? Another mixture, symbolic meaning, because you see the egg, you see the loaf, all combined together. If we look more deeply, actually, Kuhas has tried to do something, I think, very important. One is, as you can look at the picture on your right-hand side, these are the footsteps continuing on from the Shilin night market. So, at the beginning, actually, he liked all the normal people. They can come closer to the so-called culture temple or the high art of the city, bringing the energy from the surroundings. And secondly, as you can tell, if you are not going to see the performances, actually you can enter to the vertical public spaces. This is very important. You can directly reach to the top roof garden. You can reach to the platforms to see the rehearsal and to touch an overview of the whole city. I think he has brought in the publicity, the ideal publicity, to the performing arts center like this. So I will soon come to Tainan City, and Tainan is normally regarded as the culture capital of Taiwan because of its history. And I'd like to share some of you with the experiences we had in the past. And first, I have to tell you some of the unique conditions in Tainan. As Professor Wu Chen is here, I think he understands the so-called 老屋新力 actually is a very important movement in the past 3 years to bring in the NGO, NPO foundations to help the city to recover and regenerate the use of the old houses. And certainly it is based on the very rich cultural heritage of Tainan. And the third point I'd like to make is, interestingly, for most of the cities in Taiwan, the central city, most of them actually are dead, or you have to try very hard to recover them. In Tainan, if you go to the center of the city, actually it's alive, vivid. And the third point is, when you locate it here, actually is the value of the conference. We are part of the city. So NCKU should play a very important role in this university town. Actually, we did very little in the past. Okay? And with this background, I'd like to tell you back to 10 years ago when the Gudu Foundation, they had the survey. There were more than 3,600 houses which can be used as new purposes. And most of them actually are small, as you can tell. More than 2/3 of them are less than 50 平. It's estimated like 150 square meters. And most of them are from Qing Dynasty and during the Japanese occupation. And looking at the price of Tainan, house price, average price of Tainan, you can tell, in comparison to Taipei, almost 1/6 of Taipei's average house price. Even in comparison to Taichung, Kaohsiung, or other big cities in Taiwan, it's the lowest. So it has been attracting lots of talents, designers to Tainan City in the past decade. So there are lots of stories of immigration. I do have enough time to share with you. If you look at those, for example, Lu Hong, he has written a sentence for his children to bring him a more happier life in Tainan, for example. And it's very important to tell you the All House New Life movement by the Gudu Foundation. They have done a lot of work, not through the government, but through the private sectors, and they helped to extend the life of the old houses. And some innovative designers like Liu Guochang and Fujimoto, they saved the old hotel and turned it into a design hotel called Jiajia West Market Hotel. It became another good example to engage with these old buildings with new ideas and new way of management. So there are lots of examples like this, artists and designer shops, residents, and also many ideas occurring in these old spaces. And now I'd like to share with you two projects. Me and our colleagues has done in the past 3 years. One is called Tainan Cultural Creative Boulevard Action Forum. Again, when we look at the map of Tainan City, you see this very interesting spread around lightings. And here is the College of Design of NCKU. Actually, it's the place we are sitting in. And then this is the central Tainan City, the old capital city. And to the left is the Ambi, built by the Dutch colonization. In the past, actually, Tainan has done a lot of urban projects. However, never has a chance. We try to link them through a linear main axis to integrate all the relevant historical sites and the new buildings or efforts done by designers like this. And the project is to look for the vision of 2024. It's going to be the celebration for the 400 years for Zealandia. In the year 1624, Dutch people come to Taiwan and build the fortress of Zealandia. And Taiwan built its first walled city in the year 1723. So for the 2024, it's going to be a celebration for the 300 years. Thailand is a capital city. So this project actually has divided the whole spine into 4 sections and 1 boulevard. And finally, it will constitute 3 major urban centers. The purpose of calling it Action Forum is not going to do planning and make a report. Actually, we'd like to take action after this report, after the integration of different stakeholders. Before doing that, actually we think it's important to have some kind of planning strategy for the participants. There are 3 questions being asked. How to position Thailand City in the East Asia region? For example, Tainan as the origin of the culture, ocean culture, and also how to link this position with the East Asia culture, become a new discourse and form a new strategy. Mazu, as an example, is rooted in Tainan. Minnan culture, many of us, actually more than 3/4 of Taiwanese people come from Fujian, speaking Minnan language. Pirate culture. Actually, Zheng Zhenggong's father, Zheng Zhilong, is one of the biggest pirates during that period of time. And we try to jump out the dilemma of the city competition within this island. And we aim for to create another way for creative cities in the Chinese society. And second question is how to integrate the existing creative clusters. As you can tell, many people come to Tainan with their wishes and also with their dreams. They become separated fragments. How the government can help in this regard to create effect of the clusters, and how to attract young talents, how to release the old houses owned by the government, and by tax, by bank loan, creative banks, and how we create an innovative organization to do so. So this project actually is very experimental. We try to invite the bureaus of the Tainan city government to join. Although this is commissioned by the Tainan city government, we are not sure whether the directors, they are the key persons. Very fortunately, Thailand has a very unique culture. Those directories are not competitors. They can work together. So finally, there are 5 bureaus, including culture, urban development, tourism, economic development, and transportation, will join this project. And the total number of the project they have with the budget is 22. Before I address the methodology we coming to conduct this project is creative bureaucracy, advocated by Charles Foundry. He mentioned, quote, there is a need to shift the negative perceptions of bureaucracy and those that work in them. Many people who work in bureaucracies are not expressing their full talents. Can we create conditions to better harness their imaginations, creativity, and competencies? This is exactly the problems Taiwan is facing. Our government owns lots of resources. However, our officials is not creative enough to distribute those resources more wisely. So we come back to the very fundamental methodology called design thinking. Certainly we have to trace back how Stanford B School is thinking about. I'd like to draw your attention to this figure. It's very important nowadays when we solve complicated urban problems. Three components involved. One is humanity, human values. Secondly is the technology. And thirdly is the business. The very central overlap, intersection actually is design innovation. This is why design thinking becomes so prevalent nowadays all over the world, not only in the academics, but also in the professionals. And secondly, I think this is a very interesting model for the academic education. This school is a virtual college. It's not a physical, systematic and registered with certificates. They aim for training design thinkers, not design products. They are aiming for training innovators rather than innovations. So just a quick reminder that there are 5 stages normally taken: emphasize, define, ideate, prototype, and test. Actually, the fundamental thinking of design thinking is from diverge to converge, from creating choices to making choices. So, how the academic, like ICID, can help the government to become more creative. So this is the experiment we have done 3 years ago, trying to prepare for this application within our school. This is one of the workshops we have done. Totally, we have conducted 6 design workshops like this, inviting all the directors, officials, mid-level officials, and the lower-level officials to join. As you can tell, this is the director of the Bureau of Cultural Affairs. This is the director of the Bureau of Urban Development. They come with their staff. So one thing we have to break down is the wall of the hierarchy. Because whenever the directors speak, their lower-level officials won't speak, right? You understand this bureaucracy, bureaucratic ideology. And secondly, we like to break down another wall, cross bureaus. They don't speak to each other because everybody is so busy. This is a platform all the 5 bureaus can join. And through the design methodology method, by drawing, by team working, sharing, through this kind of a time-restricted procedure, actually everybody can throw out their ideas and come out with good collaborative results. So again, and again, we come to done this 6 times, and also plus 3 forums. For example, at the beginning we don't extend to speak, we extend to draw. Come back to the imagination of the children, okay? And then after that you can share your ideas. Certainly as an organizer we have to collect and do some grouping, and then finally come out with very interesting proposals. They are not simple fragmented ideas. They become proposals for the city. The things like the artist clusters surrounding the new Thailand Museum of Fine Arts to be designed by Damao, the Japanese architect, and so on and so forth. In the end, we come out with 101 proposal card. The major body is here. The total number is 88. However, we have a background. We also have an organization for the city government. For these 80 proposals, they can be further categorized into 8 themes. like this. And each of them actually can be also categorized into the cross-city bureaus collaboration, or city and university, and city and the industry. On the other side, you can see some of the projects are used for creative university city. And these projects are for creative capital city in the middle part of the center of Tainan. And this is for creative Zirania city. Take this figure as an example. Actually, this is very important infrastructure, the Tainan railway station area. We are here. If we put all this proposal card together, it becomes another clusters, okay? And we can gradually bring this proposal card to the community to discuss with the local people. And then maybe some of the cards can be deleted, can be modified, or can be edited. So actually we leave a number of blank cards for the government, and we call it urban gallery. Within the urban gallery, there are lots of emerging urban prototypes. Interestingly, after finished in the end of 2013, which is the celebration of Mayor Lai's third year of inauguration, there's a media release. Mayor Lai actually took this 101 proposal card to announce the Tainan city is going to enter the year 2014 as the year of creative industries. And also one of the proposals destroying the Chinatown of Tainan city has been announced by Mayor Lai. Actually, it has been included in one of the major projects in the Tainan city government's Bureau of Urban Development in the next 3 years. And the second project, I am going to do it quickly because you all know the background and also the method we applied. Interestingly, NCKU has been commissioned again to expand this idea to the greater Tainan city area. So it is called Tainan Creative Industry Action Forum 2014 to include the whole greater region of Tainan. And it consists of 3 parts. One is the agriculture. Majorly, most of them are to the north of the Tainan city, metropolitan area. And the manufacture, the industry, and the coastal ecology, including fishery. Again, this time, accumulated by the past experience, we extend this method even more precisely to invite the local representative, some of the NGO leaders to join and try to shifting or rotating their roles as different players in this creative process. Again, we hold 6 times of the design thinking workshop. Normally, one time we will go to the site. For example, the previous image is located in Qi, where it's in the coastal area, and here is in NCKU. So back and forth, we come to the site and we bring back to the campus. This time, actually, we did a little modification. As you can see, it's a co-creation process. The first important thing is to identify the players. There are 7 players in this project, in the second project we have done. City, industry, and the university. In here, we see the government, agriculture, industry, fishery, academic, facilitators, and assistants. Here, the procedure can be separated into two stages. The first stage is exactly the same as the one we did for the Culture Creative Boulevard. However, this is a very important stage which we modify from the past experience. Because after this, we consider how about we bring in all the decision makers to really write down their flagship proposal together with stakeholders, with experts. This is why we organize the second part. 2 days workshop for those officials and also the relevant stakeholders. It's very difficult actually. If you like to do this with so many bureaus, with so many stakeholders, there are key decision points here. Certainly, we need to find out who is the boss, who make the decisions. Because this is bureaucracy, right? So Mayor Lai has to make his position clear at this point. So all the directors follows, and then all the officials follows. So we carefully selected the key points and make all this process can move on to really execute as we consider have more people involved. And finally, as you can see from these statistics, totally there are 7 bureaus and 80 officials participating in this workshop. And if you count it by numbers, there are 203 times of the participation, meaning almost everyone participated 2 to 3 times of this kind of collaborative activity. Okay, my last part of the talk actually is the ideal changes in creative cities. First, as you can tell, we are changing the ideal from creative talent, we think they are the creative people, to creative bureaucracy because they hold the resources. And nowadays we believe everybody can create. So eventually I think we need to really help the city grow by cultivating creative citizens. And secondly, all the cities is aiming for from livable to lovable. As you can see from this pyramid, city should be functional to fulfill basic need, safe, comfortable, convivial, interesting, and in the end, it has to be meaningful, right? As Professor Zhao talked about the symbolic, the meaning, the sacred, everything. I think we live with soul, right? With spirit. And the third part is gradually, as you can tell, this kind of ideas also changing from Euro-American theories to Asian realities. I'd like to address this point a little bit further by the following images. First is urbanization. It's caused lots of problems. The lack of water, the lack of food, the problem of transportation, and the social justice. As you can tell, in the year 1900, only 10% of people live in the city. And in the year 2007, half of the population, world population, live in the city. And by the year 2015, more than 75% of the population will be in the city. So it will cause many, many problems, as I mentioned. Also, look at this map. 50% of the population actually occupied, live on the 10% of the land. And most of them actually are in Asia area, particularly the coastal area. So this is the global issues, Asia matters. And think about Asian issues, Taiwan matters. Look at these balloons. The Chinese people living outside of mainland China has a population of more than 70 million. Okay? And 1/3 of them, actually, the biggest balloon is in Taiwan. If Taiwan can do something, actually it can influence deeply the Chinese ideal about creative city or the way people are living. I strongly believe, it's very important for our Taiwanese people to really work hard on this issue because we will influence the big population and in the end maybe help China to rethink. They have more than 700 mid to big cities in the mainland China. So it's the end of my talk. My last wish is that everyone in this conference should be a creative city maker for Taiwan and Hong Kong. Thank you very much.